Packers trade the reigning MVP anytime after today, the charge will drop nearly in half. Rodgers could be fined over $90,000 if he misses all 3 days of next week's mini camp. June 1 deadline. Who wants to start here? You good?
Doesn't matter.
What message is Rodgers sending, Stephen A?
Y'all can kick rocks. I don't give a damn what y'all think. How y'all feel about me? At 90,000, I'm good. Shoot, I can go to Jeopardy. I can make 10 times that much. I'm good. We all right. I don't have to worry about that. And he's right to do so. Because as I repeatedly state, I get upset sometimes, you know, like I think guys like Dan Graziano and others do such a fabulous job for our network, and I appreciate the intel that they provide for us when we're talking about the sport of football. But when I listen, and the reason why I bring up his name in particular is because I've heard many times about, well, the Green Bay Packers are not screwing him over. I mean, he's in a good situation. They're competing for a Super Bowl championship or whatever. And I literally want to scream at my TV like, are you not listening to the guy? It ain't about football. He feels disrespected. This about how you are treated. It matters, especially when you're somebody like him who's confident enough to know that you could go somewhere else and win, who's confident enough to know that there are a plethora of people out there who would want your services, if not most of the league, okay? You know all of this. And so as a result of it, it's not just about the football. It's about being in an environment where you feel good about getting up and coming to work every day because you like the people you're working with and you like the people you're working for. And at the very least, when it comes to the people he's working for, he does not like them. Gutekunst, Mark Murphy. Those are the two names that come along. Before it was Ted Thompson back in the day. Now it's Gutekunst. And Mark Murphy's been there. He does not like them. He doesn't feel they have treated him right. Period. And everybody that covers football, damn it, stop talking about the football. You know good and damn well that's not what this is about. Look at the Green Bay Packers. They're a Super Bowl contender. Clearly, Gutekunst has done a good job in keeping them afloat and keeping them as title contenders. Stop acting like this is football. You know damn well it's not.
I would say that what Rodgers is saying by sending these, putting these pictures out publicly is, as I've been saying, he is the deciding one. He will call the shots. He's the shot caller. In other words, you can't make me play for you. And he's right. There's an expression, you don't want to cut off your nose to spite your face, right? That's the position the Packers are in. They have no power. Well, are they going to cut off their nose to spite their face? That's the only thing they can do. They can say, well, we can't make him play for us, but then he can't play for anyone. So you're going to take a guy who can get you at least 2 first-round picks and other stuff, maybe 3 first-round picks plus other stuff, and say, no, we don't want those things. We'll just take nothing, thank you very much, just to spite it, just to spite him. We'll cut off our nose to spite him. No, they're not going to do that. They will never do that. Therefore, just as I said with James Harden, same thing where you can look around professional sports in the NBA and the NFL at the difference makers, the uppermost elite guys, AD, Aaron Rodgers. Eventually it will dawn on the team. If we want him to stay, we have to change his mind. His mind. There's nothing else we can do. Otherwise, we are going to be forced to trade him to the team of his choosing. Because all it takes is his agent picking up the phone saying, hey, he's not going to really want to play for you. Well, then they're not going to trade for him. So eventually it will dawn on the Packers. We either change his mind to stay here, or he will tell us where we're going to trade him. That's what, at Rodgers' pictures, everything he does is showing that. He is calling the shots.
I don't want to say he's calling the shots, because if he was calling the shots, he'd officially not be a Green Bay Packer. They got something to do with it.
The shots take a little while to go down.
He's a made man, pretty much. Come on.
James Harden, AD,
he's a bad man, Aaron.
He's a made man. And listen, you know what I think about when I think about Aaron Rodgers? You know, and Aaron Rodgers may not realize this, but I'm going to tell you, without him even knowing, at this particular moment in his life and his career, who his idol is. Irvin Magic Johnson. A couple of years ago, Irvin Magic Johnson, little scuttlebutt news, Lakers, all this stuff going on, Rob Lake, everything else. Irvin Magic Johnson, last game of the season, LeBron warming up, stretching on the court. Irvin Magic Johnson, I quit. I don't need this. Life's too short.
Yeah.
I don't need the stress. And he can afford to do that. If you really, really think about it, Irvin Magic Johnson is all of our idols. He's the idol of every working man, if not in this nation, in the world. Because every working man aspires to be in a position that says, I don't need this.
Well, think about what the Bus family
need
did.
this.
Go back. Magic is a great example from decades ago when he was a player. The Lakers had a coach who was not playing the right style that made Magic happy. Magic, because he was so important to the franchise, Dr. Jerry Buss, the greatest owner by far in the history of American team sports, by far. Don't bring Steinbrenner, I'm a Yankees fan. Stop it. It's Buss. Realize, wait a minute. This dude is the franchise. We have to make this guy happy. The Packers have not realized that about Aaron Rodgers. They've gone in the opposite direction.
That's it. That's what it is. I mean, you got somebody.
I like that Magic Johnson perspective, though.
Listen,
it's true. It's true. At some point, he's in a position to say, I don't need to deal with this anymore.
I'm talking to Magic.
Yeah.
I'm like, what you doing? What are you doing? Yeah. The Lakers, you're going to get Anthony Davis in a month or two. Yeah. You're going to win the title. Magic was like this. My brother, I got to be happy.
And he's got a lot going on.
I'm not happy.
Yeah.
He said, I don't need this. Life is too short, and my life overall is too good to allow this negativity to invade my space. I'm quoting.
I love it. Protect your peace.
Protect your peace. He said, to allow this negativity to invade my space, I'm done.
I love it.
And he's good.
Just like that.
Magic's good.
And who the hell
But he's putting a lot of work to get there, that's for sure. All right.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.